On the line, I have a West Coast rap veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, from Long Beach, California, E. White. Let's go all the way back, man. Take it all the way back. Remind everyone where you grew up.
I grew up in Long Beach, on the east side particularly. Within, I would say, the east side is probably about a 2-mile radius. You know what I'm saying? Just the activities that we hear about, the music, and, that side of Long Beach. Long Beach is pretty, it's a pretty wealthy city. I figure, the port, we pretty much hold LA on our back as far as the port. Everything coming through there.
Yeah.
Economically, not talking about the streets or anything else. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? The hood, that's that east side shit, man. Like you said, we was born and raised that, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like we kind of like a country town, a big country town compared to LA. Like, everybody know everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different flavor, but it's still cracking. I love the city, man. I've been here my whole life.
Yeah, man. What are some of the schools you went to?
Man, I went to Lee Elementary School. I went to Signal Hill Elementary School. I wound up going to Oak Academy, which was a new school they had built. By the time I got to 6th grade, I went to Stanford Middle School. I went to Jefferson Middle School. I went to Wilson High School. I went to Lakewood High School. Went back to Wilson High School. So, yeah, I did my fair share of schools through the city.
That's funny. My son is 23. He went to Wilson and Lakewood, too.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It was just, I would have went to Poly, but it was just, with me, it was a basketball thing. So, I felt like it'd be better for me to go in my freshman year playing varsity at Wilson, which I don't think I was going to do at Poly.
Now, I understand that you did have hoop dreams, but you put that aside to run with the crowd that led you in a different direction. Can you elaborate on that?
It was kind of, looking back at it now, it's pretty accurate. Just to add to it, though, like, them dudes was dudes that I grew up with from the sandbox. You know what I'm saying? The first guys I knew, the first friends I ever knew, the first guys I ever fought with, the first guys I ever went and fought some other kids with. Like, them type of things. Them is the guys that I eventually wind up, you know what I mean, hanging out with, giving my time to versus my basketball career, as I delve deeper into the street life in high school. But I had grown up with them guys, you know what I'm saying? So it was easy. It was always that love there. We knew each other's family, whole families by names, moms, grandmas, all our brothers and sisters and siblings. Like, we grew up down the street, across the street, in the same apartment building with each other. And, eventually, that grows as you get older and, your network grows. But, they friends become your friends. And some of my friends become their friends from different places. And, before long, it's like, innocent enough. You out there in the streets and you're doing street shit. And, I fell into that. I allowed myself to fall into that. And I don't know, that, pretty much derailed my hoop dreams because I wasn't going to school. I got caught up with some weed at school, wound up getting kicked out of school. And, but by my junior year, late my junior year. So, yeah, pretty much. And it was pretty much just honing my music skills from there.
Okay. Now, the twins are your first cousins, right?
Yeah, my mom has twin sisters. One of her twin sisters had twins. So, yeah, our moms are sisters.
Triploak and Waniac, for anybody who doesn't know out there.
Oh, geez. They're my big homies, too, though. They're my blood cousins. They're my big homies.
That's dope, man. That's dope. How dope was it to see them blow up with that East Side Long Beach and Round and Round, of course?
With that, Round and Round, even the work that they did on Warren G's album prior to their album dropping, on his original album, they did some writing, they did some performing on there. So I was aware of that, even though some people might not have been as aware that they did some ghostwriting on that. But it was dope just to hear them in the radio coming out the speaker. Me listening to a speaker, I could say them was the first guys that I could say I actually, knew like that. Like, damn, I know them. They coming out the speaker through the, through the radio station. That was just major to me. It made me see that I could go from hoop dreams to making it rapping. It brought it home to me. It brought it close. On top of what Snoop and Domino was doing and had done, the year prior. But just to see them, it was even more, obviously, us being related and sharing blood. Yeah, it was dope though. It was dope. I used to be like a fan of them niggas. I always looked up to them, but I became a fan once their album dropped. And they did that work with Warren, of course. It was dope, bro.
Yeah, man. Now, let me ask you: do you or did you have a relationship with Badass R.I.P.?
Oh man, I love Badass. Man,
Such a
Badass,
great dude, man. Fuck.
brother. It's bad every day. It's hard for me to believe that Bad ain't here with us in the flesh. I be forgetting sometimes. I really, to this day, I'd be like, damn, I gotta call the homie. I ain't seen him in a minute. Like, damn, Bad gone. The little fucker that went to heaven on us, man. Love you, Bad. Miss you, bro. But yeah, Bad was, and my we're peers. We're like the same age. I think Bad might be a couple of months older than me, but as far we right there, and he was always the guy. You know what I'm saying? As far as the rap shit, and niggas my age, our age group, he was on with Big C Style and Snoop, early in his career. And that was pretty crazy because we was going to school with him and turn around and Bad's on TV doing some shit on, you know what I mean? Doing some shit with Snoop, or we see him behind the scenes and Snoop is coming to pick him up, or he didn't hopped out the car with Snoop today. We still in high school then. So it was like Badass was ahead of his time, man. Far ahead of his, way ahead of his time.
Underrated lyricist, and not too many people can outshine Tupac on his own track, but that dude on that song Crazy, Badass made that song.
Yeah, he did. Definitely. He was always humble about it. You know what I'm saying? You could tell him about it. He reflected attention back to Tupac and how real Pac is and how real Pac was for allowing that to happen. Badass was very intelligent. He was self-read, self-studied. He would take time to learn about current events, different ideas, different perspectives and views on things that just average street niggas don't, you know what I'm saying? Just that I come across, ain't just able to talk about that fluently with that much depth to it. He could freestyle like nobody else I know besides probably Snoop. Him and Snoop is, you know what I'm saying, right there with each other on some freestyle shit. I'm right behind them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I miss that dude, man. I miss Badass. I miss him too. I love him though. I know he in a good place. He in a better place. So, we'll see him again.
Yeah, man. Shout out to his uncle, and then I interviewed Badass probably about a month and a half before he passed, and it's documented on YouTube. One of his last interviews, man. But
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I'll send you the link whenever we're finished. Yeah, it's a great interview, man. Such a great interview.
I miss that,
man.
We've been on the road together. We actually were arch rivals. That's how I learned how to rap. It's me telling you what I was just explaining. How Bad was the guy. If you was trying to rap, you had to go see Bad. If you had to go. You wasn't no rap. And Bad was so cold, he wouldn't even battle me. He'd make me battle Technique and them, because Technique and them was raw as fuck, and they was hard as fuck, but they was young.
Ooh, yeah, Technique was hard.
Only like 15, 16, him, Pac-10, and them, the Dynamic Click. Them niggas was young gunners. So he wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying, give me the time of day. He'd be like, white man, go holler at my young home. Let them tighten you up a little bit. So for me, battling with them and, the back and forth, and it was all love. We grew up as kids, you know what I'm saying? But just from that, the battle shit was real, though. Don't take nothing from it. It wasn't no beef, but it was MC battle shit back then. I'm talking 95, you know what I'm saying, 96, shit like that. And, that's how I hone my skills as a rapper. That got me sharp. Like, damn, I got to see these dudes, and we finna be in front of a crowd. If I ain't ready, they finna eat me up.
Man, when did things start to pick up for you musically?
I would say 99. I really got to, because accessing the studio back then was very, very expensive. People were charging a lot of money, and just back then we were still teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Late teens, trying to figure it out. So we didn't have the money like that. We would get a session. I mean, like maybe once every 2 months, we might be able to record a song or some shit like that. And, shit was real to real back then, and things of that nature. But I'd say about 99, I got with the Discreet Merchants, my bros and them, Patah, some other cats, you know what I'm saying, that I had some history with, who were serious about music, and they still are to this day, doing a lot of documentaries. They did Shay Cotton's documentary, Man Child. He done some other, a lot of dope work. work so much I can't even think off top exactly what right now. But um, they taught me the studio, like how to count bars, how to bring it from the top, how to punch in with the turns and shit. I was raw. I could rap, but I was raw. I had no you know experience really on the mic. I didn't like the way my voice sound. I couldn't believe I sound that way. I wanted to rap without a mic, all kind of stupid shit. But they groomed me as a rapper. Like, nah, bro, you dope. Just stay with it. Just stay with it. Like, nigga, you sound dope. You dope. You dope. Like, nigga, you can rap. And I'd say about a year and a half with them guys, I had my demo take done and it wound up in Snoop's hands. Which between this time I had been going up to Snoop's a lot with the twins. So from the time they were out until, this time, I had been, you know what I'm saying? If Snoop was home and something going on the weekends, go play ball or something, he never knew I rapped. I never told him I rap. I was just like, let me get my shit done. Let me get this shit on wax so he can play it back. I don't want to just rap for him and he can't rewind it. I want him to hear what I'm saying and see if he really like what I'm doing instead of just being caught up in the hype of a moment or, you know what I mean? I want to be able to rewind and listen to what I'm saying so that I would know because I was the biggest Snoop fan. So, and still am. But I mean, at that time, it was just like, Snoop, number one on top. And it's like, you know what I mean? I wanted him to be impressed. I felt like if he liked my shit, man, that'd give me the confidence to really feel like, okay, I'm MC.
Damn. Let's keep it Long Beach. Couple people that don't get much shine that I think are really underrated is actually a female group. And I think they're from Long Beach. I know they're associated, but can you tell us anything about the 5-footers?
Oh, yeah, them the homegirls, Josh Skills, Nev Love, Cobra Red.
They are from Long Beach, right?
Not all of them.
Oh,
Couple of the homegirls from LA. You know what I'm saying? I believe they were going to, they were on before me, so the history don't quote me exactly, but I'm pretty much familiar with the story. I believe most of them met at Long Beach State University. Couple of the homegirls being from the city. A couple of them, I believe, like me, High from LA. I believe Josh Skills is from LA also. But yeah, them the homegirls, they definitely got love in the city. We definitely claim them as ours. But we respect where they from originally too. But they definitely got a pass, and not even a pass. They you know what I'm saying? They want us when it comes to Long Beach. They put it down for us and with us. So yeah, they definitely. You know what I'm saying? I consider them. If they consider themselves, they definitely are.
That's dope, man. Yeah, so good. That song, This Is a Raise. Yeah, shout out to the 5-footers, man. The Heist, that was the shit that blew up.
Yeah. We setting up the Heist. We got a lick to hit.
That shit. We got the getaway in the getaway car. I'm like, God damn, she killed it.
Oh, that was that shit. You fucked up.
Man. All right, cool. Let's go back to you, man. So boom, Snoop gets a hold of your demo. So what starts happening for you, man? What's what's the next step? Do things starting to pick up for you?
Yeah, at that point it was pretty much no looking back. I don't think I had time to really stop after that until I wound up, you know what I'm saying, having to go sit down and take a vacation later on in 2003. It was Snoop wound up bringing me to the studio. He had called me actually one of the twins, it was Wayne, had called me about midnight, I'd say late January in 2000. And damn near midnight, he was like, man, Snoop heard your demo. He want to fuck with you. We up here right now. Hold on. He want to talk to you. Snoop got on the phone and just basically was like, you know what I'm saying, to make it short, like, man, I want to, I'm impressed with what you're doing. Man, I ain't even know you rap. You already talking, you be up here, but shit, come up here. I want to get you with my producers. I got all the producers that's hot. Bring your guys up here too. I want to get them with my producers and, you know what I'm saying, start working on your situation. And I think it might have I was thinking it was going to be the next day. I was so pumped up and shit. I think it wound up taking probably closer to a week, probably about 5 days before he actually was like, come up here for the studio session. It's my first time going to rap for him, you know what I mean, inside the booth at his spot with, you know what I'm saying, big mixing board, you know what I mean? This is like, you know what I mean, pretty much surreal at that time. I just knew I had to perform. So I knew that whatever he heard, you know what I'm saying, before investing in somebody, you know what I'm saying, number one, that I'm creating the music, that it wasn't nobody writing for me, and then to see how I perform live. So I figured that's what he wanted to see. And I still figure that's what he wanted to see. And I had to write right then. I wound up writing to a beat he had. Went in there, he told me to do a 16-bar verse. I had to admit to him I didn't know how to count bars at that time. He told me he said, stop where you think the 16 bars at. I started rapping. I stopped. Everybody laughed. And he was like, right, that's like 4 bars. Told me to get on the mic again and start rapping. This time he had to cut me off. He was like, that's about 20-something bars. He white. Hold on. Just damn. So we wound up getting it chopped up. It came out good. And from there, it was just, he was actually about to leave on the Up in Smoke tour, the second one. Or, yeah, the Up in Smoke tour, the second one. It might have been, or the first one. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But he was leaving. And that was January. He wasn't coming back until later that year. Like, he was going to be gone for like 9 months. And in between that time, I started working with Warren G. Warren G wanted me to come to the studio to work on Return of the Regulator album. That was March of 2000. So I let Snoop know that I was going to do that. And he was like, I'm signing you when I get back. But yeah, go do your shit with G-Dub. Hopefully it bubbles. And I wrote the 2 songs for Warren. And, well, that's neither here nor there. But I did a lot of work with Warren. He let me get loose in the studio. That was about 3 months. You know what I'm saying? And just working with him. Him let me, you know what I'm saying, do my thing. And I got real comfortable in the big recording studios, actually with Warren G. Shout out to G-Dub. Yeah, so from there, Snoop came back and we started getting the paperwork together as far as, the contract and me signing as a solo, the 4th solo act under his new deal with MCA Records. He already had LaToya Williams, Cocaine, and the big homie Superfly. And I was the 4th act to sign. I believe they were telling him they needed him to have himself plus 4 acts that they were pleased with. And I believe he signed for like a $28 million deal or something with them at the time. And yeah, from there it was just a lot of tours and going to mess with a lot of producers, Battle Cats, High Tech, Fred Rex, the in-house producer homies, Meech Wells, Jelly Rolls, just, you know what I mean? Just that whole network. Everything was just moving so fast, meeting a bunch of celebrities, meeting a lot of Snoop's connects and company and, things of that nature, other stars, athletes, and, just starting to hit the road and getting known as a rapper, get my own identity through Snoop as a rapper.
Damn. Man, all right, cool. So all this is happening and, seems like your life is going in a different direction. And then, like you said earlier, you have to take a little vacation. And we don't want to get into the case or anything, but you did 3 years in prison. Salinas, right?
Right.
Okay. Can you just, because part of my show is actually hopefully deterring kids from making decisions that land them in prison or jail. But what was the worst thing about prison for you?
Wow, that's a good question. I would ultimately have to say the confinement, the lack of freedom. I mean, as obvious as it sounds, but just when it hits you, when it's real that I can't go where I want to go right now. I can't go open up my refrigerator right now if I want to. I can't have any peace and quiet. I can't use the bathroom by myself. I can't, you know what I'm saying, be alone. I can't turn other people off in my mind. And it's just, that I would say is, it barely beats, that takes number one, but it barely beats, I would say, the constant threat of violence. It's a constant, it just breeds violence, it breeds the system, period. It just breeds violence, evil, violence, things that, it's a bunch of street people that got caught up doing crimes, a lot of them serious, some of them not so much, but it's still, you're just dealing with a lot of the street people all put together in one I don't want to say atmosphere, just in one place and one demographic. And it's just depending, one person can have a bad day and fuck it up, set off a riot. You can get into a riot with another race behind a black person that I don't even like that. might have disrespected another race. Now I gotta ride to him with him behind somebody I wouldn't even mess with if I was on the streets because I don't like your style. Or you know what I'm saying? Things like that, just a constant threat of violence. You know what I'm saying? There's no guarantee that you go home. So the mission is to make it home. The mission is to make it home. And you know, it's some cool days. It's not like it's always just going up. You know, I ain't trying to portray some type of gladiator movie type of situation, but there's a constant threat of violence. There's a constant threat that somebody will commit an infraction against another race that has nothing to do with you, and that it cause you to have to get involved in a situation that might cause you to get extra time, or for certain people not ever come home again. You know, so just that you being that kind of at not somebody's mercy, but you're, you know, somebody else's liability, you know what I mean, can kind of indirectly affect you, you know, severely. So that thing, you know, no privacy, but I would say confinement, man. And right after that, the constant threat of violence.
Have you ever done time in LA County?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. What second part of the question is, because I always ask people this question, and I've heard like 50-50, but what was the more worst experience, LA County or prison?
I mean, my experiences with LA County. And I'll say that because by the time you get to prison, you pretty much come to grips with the fact that you've been incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? By the time you get to a prison yard, you've been fighting your case for some months. You know what I'm saying? You've been past. You've grown accustomed to being confined to the point where it's not as agitating. You know what I'm saying? You still feel it, but you come to accept that, you know what? All right, I'm here. This is my date. If I got a date, you know what I'm saying? You start preparing yourself to, you know, to come home. But in the county, everything is more fresh. You know what I'm saying? Some cats been in there for years fighting a case, a serious case. But even then, it's turned up. It's a lot of people still missing their girls. A lot of people can't get in touch with who they want on the phone. They don't really know how much time they looking at. Bail might keep fluctuating. Nothing's really solid at that point. You're kind of in limbo, wondering about your future, especially when you did some shit. You know you did it. So you hoping on some kind of, you know, wiggle room. You hoping on some leniency. You hoping on some grace. You trying to figure a way where you got some action at. So your mind is racing. Your mind is racing. And you know you've been caught up. So it's just like that stress level. You're quicker to trip. The next person is quicker to trip. And then, you know, the set tripping thing is alive in the county. It's no, it's the rules that pertain in the pen don't, stay in the pen. Long Beach, all together. I speak on my own car. Long Beach, west side, north side, east side, no matter who you had a problem with on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's just something super personal that got to get handled. You know what I'm saying? But even that's got to be agreed to by the car. But yeah, it's that thing. But in the county, I mean, shit, it don't matter what side you're from. Your enemy, we don't get along. If you're from a different set, then you know it could be an issue. You know, and depending on how somebody's feeling that day, it could be an issue. But it's just a lot more violent because people are still trying to adjust to being incarcerated. So like I said, you just now missing your girl. Your mind is going crazy about what she's doing. You can't get in touch with your folks. Your money ain't hitting right. People don't seem to be moving fast enough. And you forget that they got a life out here. And, you know, time is, you know what I'm saying, moving for them. But to us, it's standing still because we're incarcerated. But it's moving right along. It's moving too fast for them. They ain't got enough hours in the day. Well, we have too many. But yeah, that's the thing about incarceration for me, man. Shout out to Trade E, Sebo. You know, I've been cellies with Sebo in the county jail at one point. We were in cell 12. I believe that was 3600, the state module. And Trade E was right next door in cell 13. So that was back in 2004. We were all waiting to catch the chain. I believe Sebo was going to Avenal at that time, and I was on my way to, I think I wound up going to Chino for a reception at that point. So, yeah, I wound up being the first one to leave. Then I ran into Trade E a little bit later in Salinas when he got there. Damn. Well, no, I actually didn't run into Trade E. I had communication with Trade E. You know what I'm saying? you know, somebody that was able to make it happen with authority. But yeah, I was able to communicate with him vicariously.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you were throwing some cold parties, not cold parties, but cold shows behind bars, rap
Oh,
shows. I heard that on
I mean,
another interview you did.
it was it was a trip because that was my first time. That time that we're speaking about going, where I actually had, you know what I'm saying, a bit of notoriety. You know what I'm saying, as far as being recognized from, you know, you know what I'm saying, for rapping and whatnot. So it was kind of different. It was little. I don't want to use the word love, because you know what I'm saying. That's, you know, that ain't the place to where you find love or
Right.
friendships. That, not to say you can't find a friend, but it was you know, just acknowledgement. I would say, you know what I'm saying. A lot of cats would give me acknowledgement. It could be essays, cats from up north, some blood homies. You know what I'm saying. A lot of them that, you know, that was kind of trippy just to hear a blood nigga be like, "Hey, blood on blood, nigga, you hard." Nigga, you who you eat white, nigga on blood, homies, fuck with your shit. Like that on the real, like that type of shit right there was like, wow, this thing is kind of powerful. You know, I always knew how music affected me, but just, you know, them kind of instances, and you know what I'm saying, people want to rap for you, and you know, you try and listen, especially, you know, it's some dope motherfuckers in there too. It's some dope people that I done heard, where I'm like, wow, nigga, dope. And you know, so at that point, you know, I don't want to act like you too bougie to, you know what I'm saying, rap or something. So I spit rhymes for niggas when, you know what I'm saying, if it was that type of setting. You know what I mean? I felt like, you know what I'm saying, I was in the mood to, you know what I'm saying, perform some shit. And you know what I'm saying, we had, you know what I'm saying, ciphers in there and go up. You gotta let niggas know in there, you know, because that's your best audience. Them is real, for the most part, we consider real, quote unquote, real niggas. And I'm like, if these niggas like this shit, then you know what I'm saying, it shouldn't be too hard for me to impress, you know what I'm saying, the average listener.
All right, so 3 years. So you get out. Did you feel that 3 years, you know, held you back and it was hard to get back in the swing of things, or did you just get right back to where you were 3 years prior?
I got right. Music wise, I was good. Music wise, I was good. Music wise, I was very hungry. I had a lot to say. Me and my guy Meech Wells. Shout out to my big bro Meech Wells. We legendary producer, did a lot of work with Snoop, Shaq, just a bunch of different people. George Clinton. His mom is Mary Wells from Motown. My guy, Two Lovers Beat Me to the Punch. But we started going hard. Me and him we were going hard. We did about, no bullshit, about 80 songs in about 2.5, not even 3 months at that time. It was hard for me to not violate at that time. When I got out, all I had been doing was music for, you know, since I had been signed. And that's how I was sustaining myself. But my parole office didn't want to honor my rap career as a job.
Wow.
So they're telling me we don't honor that. I'm not.
Damn. So you get caught smoking around somebody who's smoking weed, and you're fucked up.
Right. I'm exclusive. I'm under an exclusive recording agreement. I'm assigned. I'm not an inspiring rapper.
Damn.
But they wouldn't honor that, and I just couldn't believe that. So they're telling me to go get a job. I'm telling them I got a career to maintain. I'm just coming home. This is everything I've invested in up to this point. So I pretty much, you know, it's pretty much going to run from here. I ain't gonna lie. It's pretty much, you know what? Let me chase this dream. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, I had got out of my deal with Snoop by that time. We had agreed for me to leave. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get dropped from the label. I left some money in the pot that I still could have been owed. You know what I mean? But I chose to let that go just to, I figured I'd renegotiate a deal when I got out. I was just feeling like, I just needed to get with a new, you know what I'm saying, a new situation, nothing new, nothing against Doggy Style Records, you know what I'm saying? They had given me everything I had at that point. To this day, people wouldn't know who I am without, you know what I'm saying, him doing what they did for me at that time. But it was just, I'm feeling like, man, perhaps I can get to a place where I can, you know what I'm saying, just set up what I thought my career would be looking like. You know what I'm saying? As a solo MC, as an artist, just more. I wanted to be an MC. You know what I'm saying? Nas and Jay was in the game. Scarface doing their thing. Andre 3000. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Still spitters. It was still spitters. A lot of lyrical shit going on. And, you know, Eminem was going crazy. So I just, you know what I mean? I wanted to kind of represent for the West Coast on that type of time. But you know, I was very naive. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand everything that it takes. And looking back at it, I can't say that was the best decision for me to make at that time. But just being honest, that's what I did, and that's where I was coming from. And so with that, me and Meech were going for a new deal. But by this time, I'm just ducking the police because I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not finna go get a job, stop doing what I'm doing. I'm just thinking once I go get this new deal, you know what I'm saying? They know it's real. We got a company, me and Meech start up a production company, whatnot. We just had the whole thing plotted out. Like, man, by the time we get with them, after we done wrapped up this 3-4 months of work, then they'll understand it. They'll see the money. They'll, you know what I mean? Everything. There'd be no way they'll want to violate us, but you know, things didn't pan out that way. You know what I'm saying? I think we started having different directions, me and Meech, as far as maybe creativity. I don't know. Definitely not to blame him for it. But, you know, it just didn't, at that time, I don't believe the timing was right, even though at the time I did. But it just didn't pan out. And from there, man, it was just a lot of violate. Going back to jail, violate 6 months, 4 months, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like everything was a violation after that. It was just hard to, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, how do I pursue this and still have time to do what the courts want me to do? And I know now, looking back at it, it's like obvious. The courts do what the courts want you to do, but it's like, man, I invested my time, everything I had, and you know what I'm saying? Becoming a professional MC, and you know, I just couldn't see myself throwing it away like that. What I saw is throwing it away like that at that time, but. Yeah, so I pretty much got jaded after a few years of that, man, and made attempts at different albums, different mixtapes. It was just like nothing ever surfaced or flourished the way that I was picturing it. You know, a lot of relationships with those projects, you know, kind of fell through. So it's like, I don't know if it's me or them at this point. So it's like, you know what I mean? Just kind of the heck with this shit right now. And, yeah, so I'm back on it now, though, baby.
That's what's up. Hell yeah.
In the works. Dope stuff in the works.
Yeah, I definitely want to give you a chance to promote anything you have coming up. Aside from yourself, who's the most talented MC you've ever been in the studio with or been in a cypher with?
By far, great, late, man. I miss that guy every day. Fucking Nipsey Hussle, bro.
Oh, wow. Oh, no shit. Talk to me.
Nipsey Hussle. By far, no contest. We didn't record together, but I can still answer this question because I was in the studio with him when they, you know what I'm saying, recorded. It was the DJ Who Kid, the Snoop Dogg, We the West compilation mixtape. I'm not sure which one. I believe it was a mixtape. Probably 2010. If you look back, there's some shit on YouTube with it. But that guy, man, was really, really different, man. Really, really different. It was, it's crazy because he didn't, as much as he got recognized while he was here and after what happened, he was still, still don't think got it all the way. It's a few people that really got it, but me as an MC, man, it's just something that people can do that you can't do. And it's like, damn, I'm dope, but I can't do that like that. And how do you do that every time? And it's like, to me, you know, I was good at basketball. I was great at basketball, but then you got a Kobe, and you got a Mike, and it's just like, oh, y'all different. Yeah, y'all, we good, but you different. And to me, it was that. I heard everything he was doing. It was just amazing. He never missed. Highly intelligent. Very, 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 very genuine. Very alert. Very aware. Very, very, very thoughtful. Very authentic. Things, and it just exuded off of him. He didn't have to say nothing. You be around the nigga. Next thing, you gonna feel the shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not to sound weird or nothing like that. It's just great people. And I don't mean to say this I hope this don't come off wrong, but charge it to my head, not my heart, if it don't sound right. But with him, the greatness that we was beholding, I kind of figured. Please don't give me. I'll say this. I knew while we were watching it, like this shit that's good like this doesn't last here on this wicked earth too long.
Damn, that's
Something great like that, and that genuine, and that true, and that real, it just doesn't last long in this planet. It doesn't. And I would think those thoughts, and I would pray for them. I would pray for them. You know what I'm saying? I would pray for them. In my head, just like, wow, I can't imagine what that man is up against, but he carries so well. And just to, you know what I'm saying? To see the impact, man. Nobody, come on, man. Who's got that kind of reception in their passing? You know what I'm saying? The world's still like, nobody got that kind of attention. Nobody ever popped it. It's nip and tuck. But that attention with Nip, it superseded that. I believe, especially with me, in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Definitely inspired by Pac, but I'll go so far as to say that. But I definitely was aware, like, damn, I can't see this lasting for too long down here, in the flesh. It's too pure. It's too pure. It's too impactful. And so, man, long live that guy, man. What a tragedy, man. That I heard every day from Nip, though. Man. Every day I miss Nip. I used to eat off Nip's food. I used to eat off Nip's messages. Is what he's saying, what he's actually meaning. That used to feed my soul. Still does.
Damn, man.
Long live the greatest ever. Absolute great.
Man.
Great. No question.
Well, E. White, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you, dude. I really thank you for sharing your story. Where can everybody find you, man?
E. White DPGC. That'd be the best place right now. From there, I'm promoting my new merchandise. I'm promoting my new single. I got a new album in the works. Right now, everything's being mastered down, and I'm just really tapping into the digital movement. You know what I'm saying?
Different game, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Just, yeah, it is. I mean, I humbly, you know what I mean? To be honest, it's just like, stepping in, allowing the fresh legs, these, I don't want to say youngsters, but the younger cats who have the savviness, who have the ability to turn the music into money by way of digital, operating digitally. So, yeah, I'm just really getting hands-on with that right now at this point, and getting real busy, you know what I'm saying? And I got some things to say. It's just matured, and it's from a different, I'm speaking life instead of speaking, death and destructive type shit. And I was never just a shoot 'em a killer rapper, but still I'll be on some bullshit at some point. And, it's still raw. It's still, you know what I'm saying? It's still gutter, but it's I speak life, man. I speak life. I speak life at this point from a mature, you know what I'm saying? Perspective, man. So I just can't wait to have something back out there for people to possibly pick up, you know what I mean? And if they do pick it up, if they like it, that's even more of a, even more what I'm in it for.
Man, thank you so much, man. And have you ever thought about starting the YouTube channel or a podcast? And I say that because
my team, they on me about that right now.
That's you have a story, man. You have a story. I'm sure you. Yeah,
bro.
I know we barely touched the iceberg. I'm sure you have so many stories that you can share. Not only that, dog, but from your prison and jail experience. That genre is really big right now on YouTube, and you could change some lives, man. If you ever need any help, dog, I'm a text or a phone call away. Just hit me up. I'll get you started, man.
No doubt, brother. I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time, reaching out, man. Let's do some more.
Thank you. I would love to, man. I would love to. I'll check in with you every once in a while, and we'll make it happen later on in the year.
All right, blessings.
Thank you, E. White. You too.
All right, no doubt.
Peace, dog. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
As black people, we need to check ourselves first before we wreck ourselves.
After 2 decades of war and nearly 10,000 gang homicides, it would certainly be an historic settlement known in the hood as tying rags.
And I'm happy to see that we all gonna come together. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be killing each other over no punk ass color again.
But right around this time comes this album called Bangin' on Wax.
It was like 6 or 7 of them, and it was only 3 of us. So they was like, y'all hard, you know what I'm saying? Y'all doing it, but y'all gonna need some more members, because we had already did Pyru Love, and we had already did EK Ride. We had just did them 2 songs by ourselves. And they was like, it's hard, but y'all gonna need more people, because they gonna be looking like the Crips outnumbering the Bloods. But we was like, that's how it is in the streets anyway. And at that time, that's how it was. Anywhere you go, you're going to be outnumbered.
And back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have any preparation for this album. It was just something that you kind of heard in the streets. And not only that, you got introduced to it on something called The Box. Some of you may know it as the Music Box. But what it is, it was a request line. It was a video request line where you could pay, I don't remember what the fee was, maybe $1 or something. It was kind of expensive, actually, if you think about it, but to play your video. And my best friend lived in Compton at the time, and we would always watch The Box. And that's where I got introduced to groups like Bone Thugs and Harmony and E40 and all the Bangin' on Wax songs. Because people were paying to watch Pyru Love. They were paying to watch Steady Dippin'. They were paying to watch Thuggish Ruggish Bone. That's the first time I ever heard Thuggish Ruggish Bone was on The Box. And it was something really cool until later you found out there was a lot of payola going on, and a lot of the record labels were actually paying, cutting, the middlemen out to play their songs. That's why I remember there were always songs where you just kind of heard them over and over again. I'm like, damn, this song again? Okay, well, it's still a dope ass song, but let me hear it again.
To be honest with you, I had no clue, and then they kept it from us. The record company kept it from us. They didn't really want us to know how well this project was doing. So I had no clue how well it was doing, other than the interviews, when we go to the interviews and stuff, over the phone interviews and stuff like that. And the videos, the music videos, on Video Jukebox, when they were like just being requested.
The Box, the planet's only interactive music video channel. The Box, the only channel where you pick what you want to see when you want to see it. The Box, it's easy to use.
One thing we did know was a hell of an idea, because when they came, when it was presented to me that night, when Blue Rag came home with it, I was like more so like, oh, I'm coming up with my name. I'm putting on this motherfucking Freddy Krueger mask, because I ain't wearing no blue rags. I'm gonna wear this Freddy Krueger mask, and my name, I came up with the name Sinlo. Straight, intelligent, natural, legend of Compton.
They call me Sinlo, yes, the G, that ain't no joke. The mystery of mask with the killer Snoop rap flow.
We were in there, man, and it was funny because when the Bloods and Crips all entered the studio, when we started getting a bunch of us in there to actually go cut music, we were showing up. Some of us was bringing guns, cats was bringing guns. You wasn't sure if it was gonna jump off or not. Yeah.
Like, a lot of us was like, man, this is crazy. We about to do some song. We didn't really believe it. Like, man, this, we knew Tweety and them, they was cool, and like all the dudes playing the instruments was from Kelly Park. Well, let me not put that out there. They was Kelly Park affiliated, Compton affiliates on the Crip side. So we met them already. So we was all cool, laughing and joking. But they like, we're gonna bring the homies, and they cool, like whatever. But Tweety already had a group called UWC.
Yeah.
So that's where the Crip side came from. That group called UWC. Yeah. So that's where they came from, and then they brought 2 of their little homies. So that's how the Crip side got formed. So eventually, like, you had AWOL, which was straight. He was like me, young, just with it. You know what I'm saying? Just crazy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't as wild as him, because he was a little wild. So when we first got there, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of mad dogging, and niggas wasn't really feeling it at first. Like, man, we don't know these dudes, because,
you know, it was still tension on the streets, and the truce had just fell apart. Which Compton was they was with the truce. They you know, Compton was a part of the whole truce. Inglewood wasn't. They ain't our across the way enemies. They from way across town, so it was like whatever. And then, you know, niggas exchange words, introduce each other to you know, one another, and you know, eventually, you know, we sat down and talked, and then, you know, they basically told us like, you know, it ain't gonna be no fight, no nothing, whatever y'all do, y'all gonna take that away from here. And so dudes was like, you know, we ain't tripping, like, you know. Then niggas broke the ice telling jokes, and eventually, you know, everybody became real cool. It wasn't even no tension. Like after like the first week, all that tension just was out the door. But you know, you'll have dudes bringing they homies, or like us, we bringing a homie. Like we'll try to tell a homie like, man, be cool, you know. But then he'll see these niggas blued up and blue rags hanging, and he's like, oh. He might say a little something smart, and then we have to calm it down or whatever, you know. Because, you know, at that time, it was like real gangbang sessions, you know what I'm saying? It was real, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of tension.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Banning, California, I have C.O. Loc. Explain to everybody where Banning is, first of all.
It's in the IE area on the way to Palm Springs. Just before you get into Palm Springs, you come into Banning, and then you pass a city called Capizon. You see the big tower and Morongo Casino. You know, and I've been out here in Banning since '79.
And you were at Eastside Park Gang Crip, right?
Yeah, I'm from PGC. That was the gang that took off, really. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was out here doing their thing. Hillside and Village was like territorial as far as, you know, what part of Banning that you live, mainly on the east side though. And then when they built the park, you know what I'm saying, even before the park was built, there was guys, you know, doing their thing. But the park started getting built when I was in kindergarten. And I remember walking through there on dirt rocks, and, you know, just, you know, you start to see different things, and then you start remembering, I used to cut through this field right here. It's no longer a field now. You know what I'm saying? You might have, you know, a whole bunch of houses there that's in the way, or like you said, you know what I'm saying, the park is right there.
When was the first time you personally ever heard anything about Crips and Bloods?
Probably like when the older guys from the town started, you know, they came up with the name Eastside Player Gangster. I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? I already knew, you know, pretty much the predominant color of choice out here was blue, but it was just Eastside Banning back then. But then the Player Gangster came in like the mid 80s, 85, 86, you know. My homeboy, Big E-Money, you know what I'm saying? Him and the homie Chill, along some other guys, they were trying to come up with a name to, you know, to call the neighborhood where we was from, and Eastside Player Gangsters came about. Park Gang didn't come up until the next generation of individuals started, you know, hanging at the park and gang banging and doing their thing like that. Okay. So E-Money and his younger brothers, Truman, me and Truman the same age, but his younger brother Peanut was really like the knucklehead, you know what I'm saying? Being the baby brother, you could do a lot more because you got your older brothers that's going to, you know, defend you, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, this was probably like 80, like in the early 80s, you know what I'm saying, mid 80s.
What were some of the first sets that started making a pop up in Banning?
Alongside of the Player Gangsters, you know, you had other gangs from, you know, gang members from LA coming through on both sides, you know, the Crips and the Bloods, depending on where they was coming from, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really start hanging out at the park as much until I got around maybe 12 and 13, walking down to the park or riding bikes down to the park. But it was, there was some Denver Lanes that came out here. A-Trade Gangsters was out here. It was a guy, he was playing basketball with us, and he had a tattoo on his back, and it was WSPGC. And I said, hey, what does that mean? And he said, Westside Player Gangster Crip. And that tripped me out, like, wow, you know, this is Eastside Player Gangster Crip, you know. But like I said, this was way before Park Gang came. The Park Gang didn't come to like maybe 90, the next generation, like 91, 92. somewhere around there, 92, 93, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, some swans that came out, you know, just names popping up, bounty hunters, California Gardens, you know what I'm saying? Just a few people coming in and out. Santana Block, Compton, Crip. My boy Kevin, he was coming out here, you know. You know, the drug thing really was popping, you know. Most everybody that was in that life, you know, predominantly were teenagers between 15 and 19 that had the sack, you know what I'm saying? And they was balling before the word balling really became popular, you know what I'm saying? So just seeing that, you know what I'm saying, like at a young age, and the older brothers weren't that much older than us, but still they was older, so we really didn't click because they was older, and of course, us being the younger guys, we can go certain places.
Africans don't like to be called black. And when I say Africans, I mean real Africans from Africa. They don't like to be called black.
African, very African. Come and step in brother's temple, see what's happening.
When you ask a person from Africa if they're black, they'll say, no, I'm African.
African, very African. Come and step in brother's temple, see what's happening.
If they're from Kenya, they'll say, I'm Kenyan. If they're from Nigeria, they'll say, I'm Nigerian. But they will not, for the most part, label themselves as black.
African, very African. Come and step in brother's temple, see what's happening.
This is something I noticed a long time ago, but I really didn't give it much thought until I got older. Why do Africans hate being called black? I didn't understand it as a youngster, but I understand it a little bit more now. The understanding came from Africans whom I know personally and have talked with who were born and or raised in a country in Africa, then moved to the United States. I have a neighbor friend down the street from Africa. And it's funny, I don't even call him black. I call him African, subconsciously. Meanwhile, there's a black family that lives right across the street from him, but I call them black. They live right across the street from each other, both dark skinned, about as dark as Wesley Snipes. However, I call one of them African, and I call the other black. Weird that I even do it. Where did this come from, I ask myself sometime. Let's rewind a bit. Growing up, I knew a kid from the country of Madagascar. When anyone would refer to him as black, he would correct them and say, I'm African, bro.
African, very African. Come and step in brother's temple, see what's happening.
In my head, I'm looking at him like, you're black. But that was just a young, dumb, ignorant me who didn't fully understand why he called himself African and not black. What people don't understand, because a lot of y'all ain't never traveled outside your own city, let alone your own block. What people don't understand is in other parts of the world throughout history, the term black was seen as bad. I once knew a black dude from England. And look, I'm using the word black throughout this discussion just to keep it simple. But I knew a black dude from England who said he got offended when he moved to the United States and people referred to him as black.
African, very African. Come and step in brother's temple, see what's happening.
Interesting. But keep in mind, white people are the ones that gave us these titles. Negro, colored, black, black American, African American, person of color. These are all terms made up by a white person. If you think I'm BSing, tell me the name of the black man that said, from now on, we're gonna call each other African American. No, it's white people making these terms up. But why don't Africans like being called black? I was having a beer with my neighbor recently, and this exact conversation came up, and he broke it down for me so nicely. He told me that a lot of people from Africa view African Americans, black people, as lazy, violent, ghetto, but mainly lazy. I asked him to break it down a bit more, and he did. So nicely. He told me that a lot of African parents drill it into their daughters' heads not to date African American men. He said, you're better off bringing a white guy or an Asian dude home, but don't be bringing no Tyrones or Jamals up in this bitch. African parents see black kids calling themselves nigga every other word, smoking fat blunts, drinking lean, popping perks, not working, not going to school, hanging out on the corner. This is what they see when they come to this country. Hell, this is what they see before they even come to this country if they have YouTube. Go on the internet right now. Go on YouTube. You're going to see a bunch of black people showing their ass. Literally and figuratively. Side note, there's nothing more gross than seeing a nigga, a grown-ass nigga, especially with his pants sagging below his ass, crusty ass.
Very African. Come to Stepper Brothers Temple, see what's happening.